I want to do a look at some statistics. I want to do it today. I know normally the stats video would be on a Wednesday, but I want to look at it today. I know I'm in the hotel room. I know. Walking around Disney today, it's just really noisy, it's a weekend day, right? So it's really, really noisy, and there's music absolutely everywhere. So I was like, there's nowhere here that I can really shoot anything. So let's go into stats and who the leaders are. And I just want to get into the leaders. No, rookies are not on the board. The board is full. When the board is full, that tells me that's enough. And I just wanted to get into it. And the term I use for the guys in red is dark horses. That being said, they're not exactly dark horses. I just couldn't think of another term other than potential to pass the guys who are the leaders. And players that I'm picking, I'm saying, you know what? If they stay healthy, if things go well, they could end up passing this guy who's currently the leader. So the points leader in the National Hockey League is Connor Mcdavid with 76, to the surprise of no one. The guy who I think has the most likelihood emerging as the scoring champion at the end of the year would be a McKinnon. Nate McKinnon. Good run by Colorado or a fallback from Edmonton. And McKinnon's right there. He's got 72 points, so he's 4 behind currently. And that's the thing. I couldn't just have a dark horse and then put up like Couture, who's got 36 or 30, however many points he's got. Because realistically, he can't catch the leader. So I can't really have a full-on dark horse. I just couldn't think of another way to put it. Goals leader. Pastrnak leads with goals with 37, or leads in goals with 37. And Alex Ovechkin. That's where the dark horse thing, I know it falls apart when you talk about dark horses. No, you have Ovechkin as a dark horse to win the Rocket Richard. How courageous. It's going to be between him and Matthews as to who can potentially do it. But, Ovechkin with the back-to-back hat tricks, and now he's had the All-Star break off. He's had a nice rest and relaxation period. Yeah, I actually do think that Ovechkin can win another Rocket Richard trophy. Try to be surprised. Act surprised when it happens. Assist leader is McDavid with 49. I think Jonathan Huberdeau with 47 can win that crown. And I've seen people talk about how we should have an award for assists. I don't disagree. I don't disagree that there should be an award for assists because I think the guy that sets up the goal doesn't get the respect he should. And that's something that is not new in the NHL. Certainly not new at all. But the guy who sets up that goal, especially when a guy's just tapping it into an empty net, the guy who sets it up deserves a lot of credit. So, Huberdeau. Plus minus leader right now is Graves. Graves, of course, with the Colorado Avalanche. And I went with Slavin, who's got a plus 27. So Slavin right now is 7 behind Graves. But I said, you know what? Slavin's going to get time that was, being given to Hamilton. He's going to get more time. And he's going to get a better chance to prop up his plus minus. And we know that Slavin's excellent defensively, so I went with him as, again, dark horse, for lack of a better term, as a guy who could emerge as the number one in the NHL, plus-minus wise. Wins leader is Vasilevsky with 24, and for me, the dark horse is Bobrovsky with 19. Everybody's got Florida as kind of the sexy pick to come out of the All-Star break. Coming off this winning streak they had going into the All-Star break, to be able to maintain that and potentially do more. So I agree with that, actually. I think that Bobrovsky and the Florida Panthers have a chance to really solidify their spot in the playoffs, which makes things tougher for Toronto because, of course, Tampa and Boston are well ahead as well. Save percentage, Tristan Jari is currently the save percentage leader in the NHL with a 929. And I went with Hudobin with a 927 because Hudobin has flirted with being the number one when it comes to save percentage in the NHL this year. And I think he's got a good chance. And for him, Dallas has to kind of maintain their defensive excellence for him to get there. The goaltending in Dallas is excellent. Their save percentage, part of it does have to do with the defensive schemes used by the Dallas Stars. So it's kind of both. It's kind of their goaltending is good and the way that they defend is also good to make sure those shots are from the point and that they're not right in the middle of the ice, 10 feet from the net. Power play goals, Pastrnak has 16, so I thought, Ovechkin with 11. Why not? Ovechkin can score 6 goals in 2 games. He can pot 6 more power play goals to pass Pastrnak as well. So, yeah, again, really courageous saying Ovechkin's going to score goals. That's the kind of line I like to take. Shots on goal. Nathan McKinnon has 229. I went with Pastrnak with 200 as a guy who I think most likely to potentially pass him. And Ovechkin's right there, but I thought, you know what, Ovechkin's so close that it's not really, I don't know. I went with Pastrnak. So, yeah. Again, hits leader is Ryan Reeves with 218. Borowiecki in Ottawa has 178. He's played fewer games. And when you look at his hits per game, Borowiecki's right there. And I could see, especially if at the trade deadline he gets moved to a team that needs him to play that physical role, he could throw a ton of hits after the All-Star break. So I went with him. Blocked shots, Clefbaum leads with 148. I went with Edler with 112. The likelihood of somebody catching him is slim, but it can happen. It can happen if Clefbaum misses time, and as long as Edler remains healthy. If you look at blocked shots per game, Edler's right up there with league leaders, but he has missed time. So Edler has to stay healthy, to which Vancouver fans say, yep, Edler always needs to stay healthy. That's been a problem over the years. Face-offs won. Ryan O'Reilly's won 612 face-offs. It's ridiculous. I went with Jonathan Toews with 598 because if the Hawks are going to get into the playoffs, they're going to need to rely on Toews a lot. And so Toews may very well take a lot of face-offs. Maybe more face-offs than he's been taking up until now. Giveaway versus takeaway ratio. So positives in the giveaway takeaway. Currently, the league leader is Mark Stone with a plus 34. And I went with Austin Matthews with a plus 27. Matthews' defensive game is... I understand people are going to say there isn't one. I get it. But when your giveaway takeaway ratio is a plus 27, you're doing something right. So maybe he's not coming back into his own zone as much as people would like. Maybe he doesn't play the physical game the way people would like. But he's still having a very solid season. And for that reason, I think he could make that ratio go up a bit. Now, on the negative side, Shay Webber is a negative 52, which stunned me when I saw that. So I thought, yeah, I got to get that on the board. And for the guy who could catch him with the negative score, I went with Hronek, minus 45, because he plays for Detroit. Both of those defensemen having decent seasons. I do look at that giveaway takeaway ratio for Shay Webber, and it makes me think, that would sink him in Norris voting. Rightly or wrongly, that would sink him in Norris voting, I think. But, so there's that. Goaltenders, ice time. Carey Price has played 2,363 minutes. And next up is Anderson at 2,265. And I think they're going to ride Anderson down the stretch. Now, if Toronto goes out and gets Georgiev, Anderson has no chance catching Price. But if Montreal continues to fade from the race, Carey Price could get some games off. Because once they're out of the race, then you don't really need to ride Price into the ground. So I would think Anderson has a shot there. Goalie win percentage. So guess who's got the highest win percentage in the league? It's Ilya Samsonov with an .882 winning percentage. Now, he'd have to lose some games to drop out of first, and he doesn't show much sign of that. But if he does, I think Binnington, who currently has a winning percentage of .733, I think he has a good chance. Because, again, St. Louis, strong record. Coming out of the All-Star break, they're going to be saying, you know what, we've got a chance to go into the playoffs on a high and maybe defend this Stanley Cup ring that we have. And so I think Binnington has a good chance of actually threatening Samsonov before the end of the year. Again, Samsonov needs to lose some games, though, so that's where it gets kind of tricky. Team power play, the leaders in the league are the Oilers with 29.7%, and I went with Boston with an 25.5%. And then San Jose's penalty kill is an 87.7%. Boston is at 83.1%. So I'm saying Boston could very well have the top power play and penalty kill by the end of the year. I could see it happening, and I could still see them in the first round struggling against a wild card team. 5-on-5 hockey, Boston, the numbers aren't as strong, but again, we'll see. I do think San Jose will end up being the number one team penalty kill wise, and I don't see we'll end it this way. I don't see McDavid actually losing the points lead. I think he ends up winning the Art Ross, even though Draisaitl's right there with him, right? Vasilevsky likely ends up with the most wins in the league. McDavid will probably lead the league in assists, but again, Huberdeau, save percentage, it's too hard to call. one bad game for a goaltender and his save percentage can be sunk for weeks. McKinnon will probably lead the league in shots. He's at 229. I don't know that Reeves ends up dropping off that mountain where he's at 218 right now. And the rest of these, we'll see. So let me know what you guys think. Which of the current statistical leaders in the National Hockey League do you think falls out of that lead? And which dark horse do you think has a chance? And again, I use the term dark horse, but when you've got Ovechkin on the board more than once and you've got the Boston Bruins down at the bottom, it's probably not the best term. But hey, let me know your thoughts as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.